Good morning, everybody. Here we are. It's Manic Monday. We are back. Me. I'm back. I always say we, like there's more than one person involved here. I can't blame this on anybody else except for me. That's it. I'm the guy. Well, that's it. This is the show. Paul K. Lemire, your city, your voice. It says so right up there. 4680Q Radio, downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. Coming to you live on 4680q.com if you're listening in on the radio. If you're not listening in on the radio, then what's going to happen is you can catch the show later on in the day at 3 o'clock on YouTube, Rumble, X, or Truth Social. And if you're listening on any of those platforms, if you have time at noon, you can tune into the radio. Either way, it doesn't matter. We're going to get down to business here. We got lots to talk about on this beautiful, beautiful Monday. The weather over the weekend was tremendous. Hot and dry, pool weather. Man, it was just beautiful. It was 75 at 4:30 this morning when I got up. Yeah, I'm up early. I know. I shouldn't be getting up that early, but I do. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful up there. 75 degrees. Can't beat that. Now it's like 90. And by the time I finish the show, it will be 90, and I'll be heading under a nice cool place with a fan and a bottle of water and cooling off. Taking it cool today. Well, it's going to be this hot tomorrow as well. It's supposed to be rain. We'll see what that happens with that. And this is continuing right into Wednesday, and we do have some fires starting up north a little bit. So we've got that fire threat, and then we do have some fires burning in northern Ontario, but I don't mean way north. I mean like south of North Bay. So have to watch that too. So before we get into the show, let's get into our sponsors: Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue, Hamel Machine Company, and Niagara Parks Commission, and a couple of announcements to make on a couple of our sponsors, which is fantastic. I love to see them doing well and thriving in the city of Niagara Falls. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Oakwood Drive, next to the Gia dealership. You can't beat it. If you're going to go anywhere this summer, you want your car running right. You don't want to break down. You don't want to get in any trouble. So what do? You take your car to Wild Bill's, let them check it all out before you go, change your oil, check your air conditioning system out, check your fluids out, throw your car on his diagnostic equipment, see if there's any error codes that pop up. If there are, he'll fix them. You're going to go somewhere and you're going to be safe. And you're not going to break down. You're going to have a great trip because you don't want to break down on the side of the road. That's why you're proactive in the first place, taking your car to Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. And if you get in a wreck, don't worry about it. Give Ken Hunter a call. Say, Ken, I need you to fix my car. Take it down there. They're going to fix it and send it back to you in showroom condition. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Oakwood Drive, next to the Kia dealership. Support our sponsors because they support the city, the good corporate citizens, and they support the show. Now, while you're at the website, don't forget to check out the video and subscribe. It costs you nothing, not even a dime to subscribe. You're in line. You'll get notifications whenever I drop a show, and you can watch the show, see what it's all about, comment on it, thumbs up, thumbs down, comment. We always talk about comments, so get in there and do it. Subscribe. You don't have to worry about picking a dime out of your pocket. It's all free, and you get to listen to me. I don't know. I guess that's a good thing. Maybe not. Some people will say yes. Some people will say absolutely not. But either way, they have an opinion. And that's what I like to see. I want your opinion because that's what drives the city, the show, and everything. Okay, a few of your comments, not many. I find there's less comments in the summer. People are busy doing things. I know every minute of every weekend, people are planning it. We only have so many weekends left. We got one coming up, a couple more after that. Then we're into September. The kids are back to school. The weather is wonky. You never know what's going to happen. So, yeah, they want to take advantage of this beautiful weather. And like I tell them, don't be a chooch. Get out there and have a good time. Come on, take your family out and have a good time in this weather. Iceman69, Mike and Seuss are from Facebook friends. Oh. Okay, John. Interesting. Very interesting. And we talked about that last week. This Steve Seuss got up and virtually and gave us a little delegation at city council meeting. And during that delegation, when he talked about violence and indigenous um, reconciliation and that kind of thing, he gave Councillor Mike Strange some pretty big accolades. And I'm sitting there going, well, why is he doing that? Which segued perfect into Councillor Mike Strange talking about, people are accused of things they didn't do and all this other crap. And I'm going like, this had to be a setup. This had to be a setup because it just worked out. So Mike gets to plead his case again on camera, which he shouldn't be doing in the first place, but he did. And the segue was just beautiful. And that's why John said Mike and Sus are Facebook friends. So there you go. At 881 Slick, it's another black eye for this city, Paul. We're becoming the laughing stock of the region. And guess who sits by and lets this happen? Yep, your mayor. And my thing is this whole thing, this whole Mike Strange affair is a black eye. This is the truth, Gary. It's a circus, and the mayor is the ringmaster, and there's no getting around it. And another one from at 881 Slick. My sources are 100% Paul. I always check and recheck. Mike Strange keeps shooting himself in the foot. In my opinion, he should keep his foot in his mouth. And that's Gary Wilkins saying that. And when I said yes, somebody told me that his court appearance has been moved to August 27th. Well, that's who it was, and he's right. Gary is on the money. He usually what he says is 100% right. Not too many times he gets it wrong. Okay, everybody. So there were the viewer comments. That was it. Like I said, there's not a lot of viewer comments, not a lot to talk about. Most of these things I've already talked about, and I'll get into some other things as we move along towards budget time, which they come down with the budget in November, towards the end of November. But there'll be budget stuff in the minutes of the meetings, probably from now till November, as things pop up that need to be talked about or discussed. And one thing I want to talk about is these speed cameras. You don't like them, right? Nobody does. I don't know anybody who ever said, there are some woke people who say they love speed cameras. Oh, I love them. They really, yeah, there are some people. But, if you don't like them, buckle up and take that foot off the gas pedal, because the region is going to double down on the cash cow disguised as speed cameras next year. That's right. The region's rotating 8 cameras right now, and regional councilors have already approved adding 4 more to be added to the rotation come 2026. What's even worse for travelers, now the cities want in on the cash machines. And that's basically, let's face it, that's basically what they are. They're cash machines. They put them up, and no matter what they put them up, you go 1 kilometer over the limit, and basically you get a $100 ticket in the mail. 7 municipalities have asked about possibly bringing the program to their road networks, with Welland City Council poised to be the first to put them on Welland city roads. See, right now the region runs it. They're only on regional roads where they decide to put them. But as soon as the city gets a hold of them, they're going to be on all kinds of roads, like city roads as well. So just think about regional roads are the main roads, the main streets in your city, and anything else is city roads. And that's why you see the guys running the snowplow down, a regional road like Stanley Avenue, and you think they turn up one of the other streets. They can't. They're regional roads. That's all they do in the city. Yep, so that's going to change soon, and Welland's going to be the first one involved, putting a camera on Thorold Road in front of Gordon Public School. Now, you realize that the cities don't own these cameras or anything. They just get a cut of the booty. That's all they do. So other company runs them, and when you see the Blade Runner cutting them down and them toppling over, it costs you no more because it's part of the payment you make to the company that runs them, and they ticket everybody. They do all the important stuff and collect all the money, and then they give the city their cut. It's kind of like the numbers game that people used to run. So when the city gets them in, these guys install them, and that all the city has to do, I believe, is put down cement pads where they want them so they can mount them. Anything else that happens to these things over the course of their placement is taken care of by the company that runs them, leases them, and owns them. The numbers don't lie. Until 2024, the first year of operations, the camera issued more than 50,000 tickets, with the average ticket being about 15 miles over the posted speed limit. The stats say that in the first deployment, there was a 9% reduction in average speed. After the second deployment, there was an 86% reduction in speed. Of course, because everybody learned their lesson the first time and slowed down. The second time, for sure, so they didn't get another ticket. Who wants to pay a few $100 going a kilometer or an hour over the speed limit? After all expenses, the region pocketed about $3 million. Not a bad haul, seeing as how they really do nothing. The company that runs them does all the ticketing and such, and also they repair the machines, like I say, that the Blade Runner takes down. It doesn't say what the total revenue was. The other company knows that, but I think in around the 30 million mark for 8 cameras, I'd say. And the region gets around 10% of it. I'm not sure what the split is, but that makes sense to get the 3 million. I mean, you just do the math on 50,000 tickets, with the average being $116. So 116 times 50,000 times 8 would probably equal 30 million. I never did the math, but I'm just looking at it pretty close. The average speed ticket issued, like I say, is 116.02, but I would say it's very low estimate considering the average speeder caught was doing 15 kilometers over the limit. So I don't think 15 kilometers over the limit is $116, but maybe it is. Have to get the real numbers at some point. I don't know where to go to get them, but I looked for them online. I couldn't find the total revenue. If it's a private company, then you're not going to get the numbers from them, just what the city gets from it. And it seems like 15 kilometers over the speed limit is a pretty neat number. Although you don't get points, it's 16 kilometers an hour that gets you 3 points. But in this case, with the cameras, you don't get any points. You get nothing on your record. All it is just a money grab. So they don't care about points or safe driving. They just care about getting your money. And you don't get any points on your license, just a cash grab. So basically, what it amounts to, if you want to speed, go ahead. You just have to pay. That's it. You're paying a fee to speed. You want to go the speed limit, or you don't want to pay the fee. It's like going into a liquor store and getting a bottle of whiskey. If you want to drink, you pay the bottle for the bottle in taxes. If you don't want to drink, you don't go in the liquor store. Same thing. You want to speed, go ahead. You're going to pay. If you don't want to speed, then go the speed limit. But even if you do speed, nothing's held against you. Like buying a bottle of liquor, nothing's held against you for doing that. It's legal. You just have to pay the price. I wonder if the speed camera catches you going over 50 kilometers an hour. You know, the racing thing? You know, you get that racing charge where they seize your car and your license and everything. I mean, if you blast by one of these cameras at like 50 or 60 over the speed limit, I think in the zone where they are, it's like 40 kilometers an hour. So say you blast by at 120, like you're going to get a big ticket. It's going to be a huge fine. But are they going to come to your house, knock on your door, and say, "We want your car"? I mean, it seems to me that if you're going to want to race, do it in front of a speed camera. You're not going to get a ticket. You're not going to get anything for speeding. You're going to get a fine, so you just pay the speed. Pretty weird, huh? I don't know if it's true or not, and I don't know if they're going to come after you. I don't suggest anybody try it. Don't do it, because you're going to get a fine that's going to break you. It's going to be in the thousands. But either way, whatever they're doing, more are coming. Cities are jumping on the cash grab. And that's the bottom line. So get ready. You're going to see them around town in streets you don't think you'd see them on. And bada bing, bada boom. They're going to pick your pocket for more money. It's a tax, let's face it. It's nothing but a tax. If you don't get punished for anything you do, it's just a tax. You pay us and you can speed. Thank you very much. Thanks to Bill Sawchuck of the Standard for the article on this. You can read it at the Niagara Falls Review or St. Catharines Standard. They have them in their papers. Interesting. Get ready for it. Another cash grab. Like, we don't get enough taxes and everything on everything. Now we got to pay for, we're going to pay more for this too, unless you don't go fast, which I think that's what they're trying to do, of course. And people are paying attention. They don't want to fine. I'm going to talk about something. I'm really getting tired of this. I'm tired of seeing it. I thought the woke people had already complained about it and it was over. But no, it's coming back. It was in the paper again. That's people complaining. I don't even know if it was in the paper. It might have been on Facebook. People complaining about self checkout at grocery stores. And it seems like this was a big thing a couple years ago. But now it's come back and people are starting to complain again. And I don't get it. I don't get it. Why it's making a comeback, why it was even an issue in the first place. If you don't want to use self checkouts, don't use them. That's simple. If that's all they have, don't go to that store. Go to a store where they have self checkouts. You don't want to pump your own gas, go to Gale's Gas Bar. You want to pump your own gas, go anywhere else. Exactly who is complaining? Well, people not smart enough to figure them out, I guess. Why are they complaining? Because they feel they're doing some kind of work for the store and not getting paid. And if that isn't the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in this day and age, then what is? So let's see here. You take your garbage out to the curb, you shovel your own sidewalk in the winter in front of your house. You use ATMs for online banking rather than go and wait in line and deal with a bank teller. You pump your own gas. Do you get paid to do any of that? Do you get paid to use an ATM and do a bank teller's job? Do you get paid to pump your own gas and do a gas jockey's job? Do you shovel the sidewalk in front of your house? Does the city send you a check for doing it? Take your garbage to the curb? Garbage collectors, do they send you a check for helping them out and getting your garbage to the curb? No. No, you do it. That's just what you do. So what's the big deal about checking out your own groceries? Is it that big of a chore? I use self-checkout anytime I can. I don't feel like listening to some miserable cashier who hates their job and complains about the kids, the husband, their backs hurting from standing all day or how little they get paid. That's all you hear. I want in and out of a grocery store without pause. And the self-checkout gives me that peace and quiet in a quick way out of the store. So big deal. They want you to check your bill to make sure you're not stealing anything. Whoop-de-doo. Does anyone complain about Costco where people check you out and then they want to check your bill anyway? Does anybody complain about that? I've never heard one person complain about that. They go with their cart, they go out there, whip their bill out, show the guy or the girl, and they look at it, check it off with a magic marker, and away you go. Does anybody complain about that? So why are you complaining about Walmart doing it? I don't get it. I don't get it. Why are you complaining about them checking your bill? Make sure you're not stealing anything. It makes sense to me. Nobody complains about that. You complain about Costco? No. That's what I thought. So I'm tired of it. Stop it. Check out your groceries if you want. Don't if there's a cashier. If the store only has self checkout, don't go there. It's your option not to shop there. Not enough people shop there, they'll get the message. Put in a complaint in the complaint department. I don't care what you do. But quit complaining about it. You do a lot of stuff for a lot of people that you don't get paid for. You really, really do. So it's just another thing. Get over it. Okay, isn't this something? Canada mandates and jumps into the EV craze, and then nobody wants them. How about that? Yes, we are mandating EVs by 2035. Everybody must own an electric car. We're not selling any more gas powered cars in Canada by 2035. If you want a gas powered car, you got to buy a used one. You can't buy a new one anymore unless it's oops. Oops. Nobody wants them. They're not selling. They're mothballing the plants for a few years until the craze comes back. Probably about 10 years when everybody who bought them has to have a new one because the batteries are toast and they're $20,000 or $30,000 to replace. And just when the auto companies were struggling, just after they signed the brand new contract, guess what? Trump drops tariffs on autos. And then nobody has a job. These Canadians and their climate change woke agendas have really shot themselves in the foot at this time. This time they've shot themselves in the foot and they're feeling it. As the US economy gets Trump started, Canada and their elbows up are hitting the wall. They're taking the hit. Elbows up is not helping Canada no matter what the left wing bought and paid for media propagandist tells you. It's not helping us. All these elbows up and all these reciprocal tariffs and everything are not helping us. As a matter of fact, Carney knows that, and that's why he dropped the digital tariffs he was going to put on the states. And who do the auto workers blame for their problems? Well, not Trudeau or Carney, not the guys who brought these mandates in and forced these guys and gave them billions of dollars to make EVs, which now are nobody wants them. They don't blame Trudeau or Carney. They blame Trump. They should be blaming themselves. They made the wrong prediction. They got it wrong. Stellantis, GM, Ford, Volkswagen, all of them, they got it wrong. They dove in head first to something that nobody wanted. So what do, though? They just blame Trump. It's Trump. If it wasn't for the tariffs, no. Trudeau and Carney screwed this up long before Trump came on the scene. One person was so mad, he says Trump's ass should be hauled into World Trade Court. And I'm sitting there going, for what? Protecting the U.S. auto manufacturing industry, for bringing manufacturing back to the U.S., for creating jobs for Americans. Trump never promised to make Canada great again. Trump is not president of Canada. You made that totally clear with your elbows up and Never 51 and all the other baloney. So why are you expecting him to help Canada or to do anything in Canada? It's up to your leaders, the Canadian leaders. He owes Canada nothing. Not a job, not a dime. Look to your leaders. They're the guys who should be taking care of you. And right there's the problem with Canada. Their insecurity while standing next to their rich cousins in the U.S., their arrogant elbows up attitude, and mostly their crybaby blame everything on everybody else except their leaders. In this case, it's Trump. Their own leaders, they elect time after time, abuse the hell out of them and their wallets. And Canadians keep coming back for more. They're beasts for punishment. There's a saying, don't stop taking until they stop giving. And Canada has fallen for that with 10 years of Trudeau. So what did they do? They sent the same criminals back to Ottawa again. And they're crying about Trump and his mean tariffs. Seriously, Canadians are mentally challenged. Maybe it was because of the 90% turnout to get injected with an experimental vaccine. But there's definitely something wrong with their critical thinking. Enough said. Get a deal done or die. My advice for the day. Come on, Carney. Get a deal done. Get a deal done. There's provinces that aren't very happy right now. You lose them and you're done. Let's get to my second sponsor. And that would be Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. And you know what? You always want a good pizza, right? No matter what. When you go out for pizza, you want to get a good pizza. You want to be sure it's going to have great taste. It's going to be cooked right. It's going to have the right ratios of cheese to sauce. You want it done right. That's the bottom line. Where do you go? Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. They know how to do it right using the Mancini family recipe for sauce and crust. They have the great blend of mozzarella and brick cheese. They put on the pizza in the right ratio to the sauce. Cook it perfect. Get it to your house hot and ready. Guess what? You can't beat it. You can't beat it. Fantastic pizza, but they don't stop there. Fantastic wings, steak and cheese poutine. They have a full menu to please you. Panzerotti, the whole works. You can't You can't get it any better. How do you get a hold of one of these beautiful pizzas? Well, 905-374-2222, or go to their website, pizzapizzavictoria.ca. Check it out. You can order on the website. They use Dine, they use Skip, they use all the other places to get delivery from and to order from. Yeah, it's good. I mean, go get it. You know you want a pizza. Who doesn't like pizza? Everybody wants pizza. Pizza on Victoria Avenue. Support our sponsors. They support the show. Tell them, Paul, from your city, your voice sent you. They're good corporate citizens. Okay, here we go. Over to Fort Erie because they won't pony up for the hospital. I talked about this a couple weeks ago. And now Pelham jumps on the Fort Erie bandwagon, and they say they're not able to pay their share. They're not even able to pay their share. The full ask from the region for their part of the hospital is more than we have in the bank. That's what they say. So what can they pay of the 5.8 million they should be paying for? All they can pony up is $1 million. That's it. Over 15 years. So what's that, 90,000 a year or something? What happened to these guys? They were all in on this new hospital, and all of a sudden when they're asked to pony up, they back out. Now we have Fort Erie completely out. They don't want to pay nothing. Pelham able to kick in $1 million over the next 15 years. And we still have Port Colborne, Waynfleet, and Welland to chime in and say what they're going to give. Now we know what they should be given. They've been given all the price because it's split up. Pelham, along with the city of Niagara Falls and the other cities mentioned, were asked to participate in covering $2.3 billion. That was the cost of the hospital, $2.3 billion. They were asked to chip in 10%, so $230 million between all of them. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people kicking in. Now Niagara Falls is kicking in the lion's share. We're going to kick in $30 million. And then we also jumped in on another 11 million. That's 41 million we kicked in because we had to buy property because of a bad deal made by city council. And then we have to pay for infrastructure, which is another 30 or 40 million. So we're probably in 70, 75 million. Now, on the other side of that coin, we're supposed to receive and recover some of the development fees when they build neighborhoods and that. And those development fees are supposed to be kicked in to pay for part of the cost, part of the bill. Question is, where's the money going to come from if these municipalities won't kick in? I mean, we've given enough in Niagara Falls. We put in a lot of money. Taxpayers are on the hook for it. And this is long-term money. I mean, we just don't get this for free. We have to loan money that we don't have, so we have carrying charges too. So are we supposed to pay for it? Because they're not. Is the province going to pay for it? Who's paying for these pikers? Pelham and Fort Erie, pikers, now what? Now what do we do? How are we going to make them pay? I hope they don't try to put the arm on us, the taxpayers of Niagara Falls, because that isn't fair. This is an agreement, and the $2.3 billion is probably going to look more like $4 billion by the time they're finished. But the province says, don't worry about the other, $1.7 billion. We'll take care of that. You only owe us 10% of the $2.3 billion or $230 million you owe us. And now we're not even going to get part of that from these cities that are supposed to pony up. So hopefully somebody leans on them. Don't let them off the hook. They got to pay. Cities, the guys in Niagara Falls, us taxpayers, we can't pick up the tab for this thing. We can't pick up 230 million on our own. That was the deal. So speaking of budgets and taxes and money and everything, I went through last year's capital and operations budget on the weekend. I know, I'm nuts. I should have been outside in the nice weather, but I had to know this. I wanted some information on the cost of the renovating City Hall. It's closed now. They're having the meetings at the Exchange. For now, anyway. I want to know what the cost of renovating City Hall was, and I figured it must have been in the budget for 2025. And then I wanted to know the cost of running the Exchange. Now, these numbers are not easy to find. They're hidden away on pages of stuff in the budget. So Sometimes they're tough to find. So let's look at City Hall reno first. You have to remember some sections of City Hall were refurbished already in 2024 to the tune of $82,200. Now, if any of these numbers are wrong, please correct me. I go in there, I look through the budget, I try to pick out line items. A lot of the line items I can't drill down and see exact amounts. When it says the cost of renovating it, 82,200, that's the number that I picked out by the entry. Now, 219,000 in this year's budget, with the total project forecast to come in at $638,700, including more expenditures in the 2026 budget coming up of $99,000. The total to renovate City Hall inside is $638,700. Does that concern you? What are they doing? I don't know. We don't know. But they're spending the money to do it. So $219,000 in this year's budget, $155,000 in the 2027 budget, and $83,500 in the 2028 budget. And don't expect these numbers to come in as forecast as the way prices are escalating. This is a $1 million renovation when it's all said and done, guaranteed. So there you go. That's what that renovation costs. $638,700 sitting right now. That's anticipated. We'll see what it comes out at. So here's the breakdown. City Hall, $219,000 for the refurbish allotted in this year's budget. City Hall, $135,000 for customer service improvements. City Hall, $57,000 for an employee health and wellness center. That's right, they put an employee health and wellness center in City Hall for all the people who work there. City Hall, $175,000 on an archway for weddings there. City Hall, AODA accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act compliance, $100,000. Not sure where this was spent exactly. If it was spent at City Hall or split between other buildings, I'm not sure. It didn't really say that. City Hall, $60,000 to replace network cable throughout City Hall. So it looks like the renovation overall is going to cost close to $1 million when it's all said and done. When you add all the other stuff they've done, not just refurbishing they're doing now, the added costs for things they're going to do in the future, things they have done. And that was in addition to the money they just spent maybe 5 or 6 years ago or 7 years ago. I'm not sure how long, I can't remember, where they took a nice brick building and refaced it. I have no clue what they spent on that. In the millions, guaranteed. In the millions, guaranteed. So that's your City Hall. They've spent on City Hall. And some numbers that they're going to spend in the future. You'll see them in the 2026 budget, guaranteed. Not cheap. Not cheap. Taxpayers pick up the tab. Let's go over to the exchange, the huge white elephant. $17.5 million to build it. So last year's budget, we saw $62,000 for lighting upgrades. So they just finished it a couple years ago. Now they got to spend $62,000 more on lighting upgrades this year. And that's after the city spending $8,000 for lighting already. So there's $70,000. And that's over and above the lighting that was put in when they built the joint for $17.5 million. It's brand new. They need another $70,000, right? They spent. Now the operating expenses, and this is from the 2025 budget. This is where I got this. Because we're coming up on the 2026 budget, right? $764,004, including $424,170 for wages and $103,339 for benefits. So 70% of the cost of running the exchange is wages and benefits. How many people work there? I don't even know. But whoever's working there is getting paid pretty good if 70% of the cost of the exchange is wages and benefits. Now, they did recover 139,220 from rents, user fees, and sales. I would love to know how they raised $25,000 from sales. It's not broken down, but it's a far cry from the sales of 90,000 in 2024. So, why were the sales down? Because the place doesn't work. The market was there, and the vendors and everybody were probably paying a big buck to be there for the season. Well, those vendors said, "Hasta la vista, we're getting out of here because we're not making any money." They tried it for one season, 2024, and then they left for 2025 and went back to the McBain Center where they were making money. So that's why I went from 90,000 of revenue from sales to 25,000. I think that's what that is. I think that's where the difference is. Okay, so then we move on to other numbers here. Now, please remember, these are anticipated numbers to run the exchange. The actuals have not come in for 2025. We won't see that till the end of the fiscal year, which is, by the way, December 31st. Fiscal year for the city runs from January the 1st to December 31st. And I think the taxpayers are going to be on the hook for more than the 624,784 projected in the 2025 budget. We'll soon see. But it doesn't end there. You have to include the maintenance and utilities on the building and carrying charges on the debt. Add it all up, and a whopping $1.02 million, up by 13,000 from the 2024 actuals, was set aside to pay for it all. So that building right there is costing us $1.24 million a year to run. So what are the carrying charges? I call them carrying charges. Basically, the city had to borrow $17.5 million to build it, and the carrying charges on that loan are $509,882 towards the debt, and another $217,189 towards the interest, for a whopping $727,071 payment for 2025. Yeah, it's not cheap, and it won't be much less for 2026. Now, I'm taking these carrying charges, the interest, debt and interest that they're going to spread out over the years as debt for 17.5 million. There could have been grants, there could have been other stuff. I didn't see them in the revenue side. I don't know where they are. They might have been there when we first started it. We might have got grants from the government and that. So that number might be a little bit lower if there were grants given and we didn't have to borrow the whole 17.5. I'm not sure. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. Total cost was around 17.5 million though. And other than the carrying charges, which are pretty well set, like any loan, you loan money and you pay interest on your loan. The other charges for maintenance and utilities are just projections for 2025 this year. We have to see what the real numbers say when the year end strikes, and we might see them in the 2026 budget. They usually do a report that is the projected and actuals, and that'll tell us the real cost. So I can't wait to see those numbers to see what this thing really cost us. Oh, and I almost forgot, it doesn't end there. The exchange just had to have 2 EV stations, which had an expense of $8,250 budgeted for this year. There was anticipated revenue of $4,800, but that sounds a little high to me. I think the number for revenue from those little charging stations is going to come in a lot lower, like closer to zero. I don't imagine if any of these staff there have electric cars and they have to plug them in, they're going to be paying anything. But this thing is a money pit, and it's just going to keep costing us money. That's why I keep saying change it to the medical exchange. Get some medical stuff in there, some doctors in there for the city needs doctors. Oh, we need doctors bad. Get some doctors in there. Forget about this exchange thing. But anyway, there's some of your numbers. You want to look at them, just go to November of 2024, around the end of November for the capital budget numbers, November 27th or something. And then you can go into January, towards the end of January, for the operations budget. And you'll see the exact numbers around the end of January as well. See them for yourself. They're right there. Just go in there, do a Control F search, type in exchange, and all the numbers for the exchange will come up. Control F for City Hall, and all the numbers for City Hall will come up. Pretty easy, really, to get through them. If you want to do it, I don't know. John Ringo Beam, what do you think? You should go be doing it. You should do this. You're interested in this kind of stuff. Okay, moving right on. I want to get to my third sponsor, and that's Hamill Machine Company. And you know, Hamill Machine Company's been around since 1948, and any industry that comes to any city would like to have good machine shops available. Why? Because machines break down, and when they break down, they need people who can fix them. And that's what Hamill Machine Shop specializes in. When they break down, Hamill Machine goes over and takes a look at it and says, "Yes, we can fix the part, or we can re-engineer that part." They have 3D printers, they have water jet cutters, they can create anything. And so time is money. These guys don't have time to order parts from Germany or Taiwan or Japan or China, wherever they're going to get them from. Hamill Machine can take care of them right away and get them up and running in the shortest amount of time and save them the most money. And not only do they save them money, their goal is to make the parts better because time is money. And if they're more efficient, it makes more money for the company. That's what they do. They have the IT guys, they have the machinists, they have everybody there that can do this kind of stuff. And they've done it for rich products. They've done it for the agricultural industry. They've done it for the wine industry to the point where they are shipping their innovations all over the world. This little Hamill Machine Company in Niagara Falls has been here since 1948. Imagine that. Go to hamillmachine.ca and see the spectacular work they do. You'll be blown away. And if you need something done around the house, guess what? They'll do that. They haven't forgot about us little guys. They'll do that for you too. Hamill Machine Company, right over here on Bridge Street or on Kent Street in Niagara Falls. Been here since 1948. You can't beat it. Support our sponsors. They support the city. They support events. They support the show. Come on. We got to keep our small business people in business. We need them. Okay, so let's talk about chili con carne. Oh man, I get headaches from this. I get headaches from these people. They're always in the news, and it's never good news. So I read an article that Chili con Carne sent his elbows up entourage to Mexico to try to hammer out an exclusive bilateral trade agreement with Mexico, leaving the U.S. out of the deal. Now, Mexico's a country with 40% poverty rate. I mean, yeah, Canada's 10.9%. We're up there, but not even close to them. And you know what Mexico told them? A country with 40% poverty rate? Get lost. That's it. Claudia Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico, said we have the USMCA in place and there's no need for a separate deal with Canada. So forget about it. Don't be a chooch. Go home. Take care of your Canadians. Well, of course, she's not going to ruffle any feathers of the United States. Right now, she's doing really good with the United States, right? Donald Trump just gave her a 90-day extension on her negotiations without jumping the tariffs on them. And the reason he did is because he said they're trying. We're trying to get a deal together. They're not giving me any elbows up arrogance or any of that baloney or big mouth Doug Ford. We're not getting any of that from them. They're working with us. So we'll give them a 90-day extension before we do anything. And she also said that Chili con Carne himself will be traveling to Mexico for direct talks in the near future. So Chili's not giving up. He's going down there, even though they told him to get lost. Chili just doesn't get it. Does he really think Sheinbaum is going to make a deal outside of the USMCA with Canada and risk the wrath of Trump? Is this guy crazy? Mexico's already in hot water with Trump as it is regarding the border and cartels and drugs. I mean, she don't need to be doing anything crazy with Chili con Carne. And exactly what is the third world Canada looking for? Well, they already have the USMCA to work with. Remember that deal everyone was crying about when Trump decided to drop tariffs on Canada? Well, it's still in force. It's still in force. But Chile, he just don't get it. He's barking up the wrong tree. And getting rejected by a country with a 40% poverty rate, a real third world, what hole, governed by drug cartels. That's right. Everyone talks about not spending money in the U.S. Don't go to the U.S. because of Trump. He's mean to Canadians. How about spending money in Mexico where 10% or more of whatever you spend goes to the cartels so they can make drugs and bring them into Canada? How about that? Rather spend money there or spending your money in Canada, which could be even worse because they send billions to third world countries, warlords to kill their people, and terrorist nations like Palestine, where Hamas commandeers every cent, leaving nothing for the Palestinian people, or to the Ukraine, so they can spend it on war and make Zelensky rich. Oh yeah, Canada, spend your money on Canada. I think these guys are crazy, crazy. I mean, spending $1 in the U.S. is the least of any Canadian worries at this point, believe me. Chili Con Carne's motto is promise everything, deliver nothing, blame Trump. And that's exactly what he does. Promise everything, deliver nothing, and blame Trump. That's his motto. That's what he's running on. And Canadians are following him. I hear so many talking about, we're not going to the States to spend money because of Trump. He's treating Canadians bad. Wah, wah, wah. Well. Don't worry about it. Your dollar you're going to spend on a pizza in Niagara Falls, New York isn't going to hurt anybody. It isn't going to hurt anybody. All these companies do in Canada and you do is get taxed, and the tax dollars go to other countries. Anyway, that's why we're $2 trillion in debt, and we're going down the tube fast, this whole country. So, on the same subject, Trump gave Mexico the 90-day reprieve. The same ones from the tariffs, the same ones he laid on Canada August 1st because of Canada's idiotic media assault on him in the U.S. and guys like Carney and Ford touting their elbows up rhetoric. Trump said his working relationship with Sheinbaum is good. Mexico's really working hard to make a deal. There are complexities with the cartels. He gets it, and they're working on it in good faith. Right now, Mexico is paying a fentanyl tariff of 25%, 25% on autos, and 50% on steel, aluminum, and copper. So they're not getting off the hook. He's got to make a deal with them. He wants to make a deal. Sheinbaum, who's a smart president, says your strategy of, and listen to this, Doug Ford, keeping a cool head, strength, and firmly defending our principles has worked. So Ford's got to learn that lesson. Shut the hell up. Let Carney take care of it. It's his realm. But since you're running for prime minister next election, or at least you think you are, you're up there in the front spouting off. It's not helping anything. Speaking of Mexico, Trump said he was sending troops into Mexico to deal with the cartels since Mexico cannot seem to get them under control. He's had enough. I've had enough. Now, the New York Times reported on Friday that Trump has secretly signed a directive to begin using military forces on foreign soil. The White House did not address the directive, but said Trump's top priority is protecting the homeland. The directive follows up an executive order signed by Trump earlier, formally designating drug cartels as terrorist entities, 6 of which are Mexican. 8 drug cartels as foreign terrorists. They're terrorists. The 6 of them are from Mexico. The other ones, I would imagine, are from Colombia and somewhere else in South America. Now, Claudia Sheinbaum, president of Mexico, says that the Mexican government was informed about the order against cartels, but it had nothing to do with the participation of military personnel. She said, when they talked to me, they didn't mention military personnel coming on our shores. It was not part of any agreement, so far from it. When it has been brought up, we have always said no, she said. Now, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that the U.S. has to start treating the cartels as armed terrorist organizations, not simply drug dealing organizations. So they're going to run under terrorism on this one. So the directive signed by Trump provides an official basis for the possibility of direct military intervention on the soil, on Mexican soil, and in the sea. The U.S. Coast Guard is already in action against the drug cartels. They have submarines and speedboats they use, and they're taking them on. And now Trump says we're going to go on your soil if we have to get them. Well, the Mexican president can say what she wants, but really, the cartels run the country. Part of every tourist dollar spent there goes to the cartels, and that money is used to fund their illegal activities, along with loads of drug money. That amounts to hundreds of billions of dollars a year. They have more money than the government. They have more arms than the government. They have better organization than the government. So Scheinbaum is literally under the gun. And it's not out of character for the cartels to eliminate politicians that don't play by their rules, president or not. Stay tuned to this ongoing story. We'll see if Trump actually gets in there, goes right in and wipes out these cartels. Okay, I'm going to get to my third sponsor, Niagara Parks Commission. And woo, Niagara Parks Commission and Pete's Pizza have a couple of announcements here. Pete's Pizza, first off, the announcement for Pete's is that they're opening a new location. How about that? They're opening a new location on Thoroldstone Road where the old Pie Guys used to be, up by Kaler and Thoroldstone. New location. First week of September. That's when they said they're opening Pete's Pizza. And now the Niagara Parks Commission, who is the custodian of 32 miles of the most beautiful parkway in the world, running from Fort Erie to Niagara-on-the-Lake, with the Niagara Falls, one of the seventh wonders of the world, sitting right smack dab in the middle of it. It's amazing. And they've got a new attraction coming out at the end of August called Niagara Takes Flight. And this is going to be something. Anybody who hasn't been to it, or anybody who's been to Niagara Falls before, know about all the other attractions. The Table Rock House, where you can go right to the brink of the falls, the power stations that have been refurbished, and you can walk out through the waste tunnels right down to the Niagara River and be right at the base of the falls there. They have the aero car going over the whirlpool, the great gorge strip going by grade 6 rapids, so dangerous boats can't even navigate that water. It's amazing what they have already. Now they're having a simulation of a flight down the Niagara River, up over the falls to Fort Erie. Included in that will be representations of the War of 1812, a lot of history. It's going to be an immersive journey soaring along the Niagara River. And it's going to be unbelievable, high-tech, with a history of the area included as they make their way from Niagara Lake to Fort Erie. And anybody who knows Niagara Falls at all or has done any kind of research into the history, this was a main location for the War of 1812 when the Americans tried to invade Canada. And, well, really, it wasn't Canada then, because it was before Canada became Canada, but the British were running it, right? So, amazing area for history. We have all kinds of historical places here. And the Niagara Parks Commission is going to take you right into the action with their immersive journey called Niagara Takes Flight. It's supposed to come out, I believe, at the end of the month. You got to look at NiagaraParks.com and you'll find out all about it. And you can buy tickets for it and everything else. It probably will be included in maybe one of the adventure passes that you can buy for tourists and locals alike. And this is something I think a lot of locals are going to go down there and see. Niagara Parks Commission, always innovative, always bringing you something new. You can't beat it. And sad to say that a lot of local people don't take advantage of all the parks has to offer. It's like living by the Grand Canyon. You don't go see it every day. Same with locals. But we should get down there more because they have specials for us and also parking passes for us. So we don't have to pay the huge parking fees. You can get a parking pass for $50 for the season. Park anywhere you want on Niagara Parks Commission lots. NiagaraParks.com. That's where you go. Support our sponsors. They support the show. Fantastic trip if you're coming to Niagara Falls. Do not miss it. You remember last week I was saying that the death of Hulk Hogan may not be what it appears to be? It could be homicide. Well, people, when you say that, they say you're crazy. It's not conspiracy theories. But now, more details are coming out about the death, and Brooke Hogan, his daughter, Brooke Hogan, halted the scheduled cremation and wants an autopsy done on the body. His daughter has concerns and said she'll pay for the autopsy. She doesn't think it was an accidental death. Now, in a strange twist, Brooke says that Sky Daly, Hulk's latest wife he married in 2023, was heavily involved in Scientology and that she was pushing for the marriage, which Hulk really didn't want to get married. Hulk's third marriage, that would have been his third marriage to Sky Daly. She was 44 when they got married. Hulk was 69. She was 46 when he died. He was 71. Pyramids claim that Hogan was at home and was waiting to start dialysis, was doing therapy when he collapsed. He just returned home from the hospital from surgery on his neck several days before his death. Nobody knew that Hogan was facing dialysis. In a bid to revive him, medics reportedly gave Hogan drugs that can treat excessive potassium, a sign of kidney failure, and these drugs can lead to cardiac arrest. He was also given Narcan, which is odd, the drug that quickly reverses an opioid overdose, even though there were no apparent signs that he overdosed. County medical examiner did not perform an autopsy because he said there was no indication of foul play. So a celebrity is found dead in his home, in no autopsy to see what killed him. Now Hogan is said to be worth $50 million. A third apparently going to Sky Daly. Apparently, Mike Rinder, a former Scientologist, but now the biggest critic of Scientology, warned Brooke about Daly and Scientology, who in turn warned Hogan to no avail. So Brooke warned Hogan. Rinker told Brooke Hogan, warn your dad about this. He was worried about him. And he warned Hogan, and Hogan didn't worry about it. So the plot thickens, and Hulk Hogan's death, the Hulkster, we'll see what happens, what comes out of it when it's all said and done. Now, the FBI in the States is not fooling around with sanctuary states and crooked politicians or police. They arrested Boston sheriff who refused to work with ICE on deportation. Suffolk County, Massachusetts Sheriff Stephen Tompkins was booked on federal extortion charges after extorting $50,000 from a cannabis dealer trying to do business in the city. And this is an FAFO, F around and find out, is the order of the day for these sanctuary cities and sheriffs. And more arrests are going to be made if these politicians and law officials do not cooperate with ICE and obstruct the federal mandate to remove all illegals in the county. So, in the country. So this guy is they couldn't get him right away for obstructing justice by not letting ICE in. So what they did was they grabbed him for the $50,000 extortion from a cannabis dealer, and then they're going to take care of him on the other charges as they go along. So, I mean, extortion charges is a way to skirt the current argument about obstruction, which could include AOC and other politicians harboring and assisting illegals that want to evade capture and their ultimate removal from the country. So these illegals are going to be gone, and these sanctuary state people are harboring them and running interference for them, and they're going to be arrested. And this guy was one of them, and they couldn't get him right away for that, so they got him for the extortion charge. Now, a wild story out of Hamas or out of Gaza about Hamas that is said is going to escalate the war big time. Israeli troops wiped out an entire Al Jazeera news team. Al Jazeera is an independent news organization funded in part by the Qatari government and is huge. Seen in over 150 countries and territories and in more than 430 million homes. A lot of viewers. They are considered a biased source of news on the Arab-Israeli conflict and on topics for which the Qatari government has a conflict of interest. Editors perceive Al Jazeera English to be more reliable than Al Jazeera Arabic. The reporters were allegedly in Gaza to report on the latest events, but one of the reporters killed was named Anas Jamal al-Sharif and was a Hamas operative who enlisted with Hamas in 2013 and was head of a terrorist cell in a Hamas-guided rocket platoon. Sharif was embedded as a journalist for Al Jazeera, but he was on the Hamas payroll. The attack by the Israelis was planned to take out al-Sharif, and the others that were killed were just with him. Collateral damage, basically. But Al Jazeera is claiming that al-Sharif was one of Gaza's bravest journalists. Claims he has no Hamas ties, but it's already shown that he has. And it looks like Israelis are correct when they say that. Al-Sharif was responsible for the rocket attacks on Israel. So he was embedded. He was a spy type of guy, and they went in there and got him and got some other Al Jazeera. Now it's going to escalate the war, although Netanyahu says it's over for these guys. They're going in. They're going to occupy Gaza. They're going to wipe out Hamas, get their hostages back, and they're going to call it a day. They've had enough. They said they've had enough. So there you go. Take that for what it's worth. Take that for what it's worth. We'll see what happens, and I'll talk about this tomorrow. Trump just had a big news conference that was going on when I left the studio here in D.C. He's gonna do what's ever necessary to clean up D.C. once and for all from crime and the homeless and everything else. I'll talk more about that on my show tomorrow. It's interesting what he's doing there, and he said he's not only just going to do it for Washington, D.C., he's going to clean it up, and then he's going to take it to New York, Chicago, all the other sanctuary states that have this problem. He's cleaning them up. He's taking on crime right away. There was everybody at this meeting: Pam Bondi, Peter Hegseth from the military, Kash Patel, Judge Jeanine Pirro, who is now what the heck is she? She's some big shot, the attorney general or something for Washington, for D.C. But I'll tell you who they all are, and I'll tell you what they said. And this is going to be interesting when he goes in and cleans this place up. He's had it. And that is about it for me today. I'm sure I'm going to find some more to talk about for City Council tomorrow. I'm going to look at more numbers as we get closer to the budget time in November. We have a few meetings left. We have the August meeting towards the end of August, September meeting, October meeting, and then we head right into the budget. It's going to be interesting this year to see what these guys do. They're anticipating a 6% increase to our taxes. We'll see what they come up with. Man, I could, Doge, Niagara, our Doge team can find money. There's lots of money there. We can find it if City Council has the cojones to actually attack it and tighten their own belts rather than making us tighten ours and costing us a lot more money. Anyway, my name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you from the studios of 4680Q on this Manic Monday. It's 90 degrees out there. Get out there. Enjoy the weather. Have a good time. And I'll see you tomorrow at noon. Promises made, promises kept. Don't forget our sponsors: Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue, Hamel Machine Company, and the beautiful Niagara Parks Commission. God bless you all. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow on Your City, Your Voice with Trash Talking Tuesday, one of my favorite days of doing a show. It's always fun. Take care, everybody. Ciao, ciao.